Hi there, welcome back. Today we'd like to share with you what does it mean to be more resilient at work.
Everyone has the power within them to conquer any challenge that life throws at you and be stronger because of it. I want you to think about even this past year in your life or more at this point. How many things have you had to get past? How many things has life thrown at you that's been challenges? And are you stronger? Because when we can conquer those challenges, we become stronger, and that's how we are resilient. Resiliency begins when change happens.
To be resilient is to be flexible and formidable. That when you are flexible and formidable, this makes you a powerhouse and a trailblazer as you are resilient. A trailblazer is one who makes a path for others to follow when we're resilient in tough times. So today we're going to share with you the 3 ideals to be more resilient in hard times.
Make sure and watch to the end because we're going to be giving away a free gift. We are Kris and Bill Barney, and we are so excited to be with you. We have been entrepreneurs for 37 years. We love to impact, influence, and inspire leaders and teams to adapt, grow, and thrive, which is what we're having to do every day right now, especially with the pandemic and everything that's gone on. Make sure and stay to the end because we've got a free gift. The 3 virtues that we're going to teach you, the first one is flexibility. When we're flexible, we're willing to do things differently. That means sometimes other people's suggestions we might have to consider, right? We need to be flexible in how we do things. In flexibility and being resilient, a lot of times we get up to those things that are happening and we start to resist. And when we resist, we have more problems. We're not being flexible and allowing things to flow and allowing things to happen differently. We will have less ideas, less ways to get through things, and we'll be less resilient. So resiliency starts with being flexible.
And it's important to be flexible. Look not only for new ways to do things, but question why you're doing things the old way. If it's not working anymore, when conditions change and what you've always been doing isn't working, don't keep doing it. Look for a new way to do it. Short little parable. A lady got married and went to cook her husband a nice Sunday dinner. And he brought home a really nice roast, and she got out the roast in the roasting pan and took and cut 2 inches off each end of the roast and put it in the pan. Her husband says, "Honey, why are you cutting the ends off the roast?" And she says, "Well, that's the way my mom always did it." "Well, why did she do it that way?" "I have no idea." "Well, let's call her and find out, because that makes no sense to me." "Mom, why do you cut the ends off the roast?" "Well, it's because our pan was too small." Okay? She had a good reason. But it doesn't have to happen with every person every time. Her daughter had a plenty big enough pan. She didn't need to waste part of the ends of the roast. And so just think of that. Think of that, cutting the ends off the roast when you're looking at doing something that's not working anymore. Find a new way to do it. Figure out why you're doing what you're doing.
Be flexible in how that's happening. Resiliency usually comes when change happens. And a lot of times that change isn't easy. When you have to be resilient, it's usually a health problem, a loss of a job, a pandemic. It's when there's a big challenge. And so be flexible and look at what you're doing. Are you just following what you've always done and it's not working anymore? Or could you do things differently?
Obviously, if what you're doing is working, if you're on a championship team and you're winning every game, you don't need to look too much at resiliency. Stick to what's working. But it's when you start losing games, that's when you want to look to resiliency. How do we do things different? How do we change it up so we can continue to have success?
Yeah, when you're not getting the contract and business isn't happening and you're not being as productive, you need to look at the flexibility and your resilience.
So I'd like to invite you to post in the comments below, when have you been willing to do things differently? And what results have you seen as you've tried and done things differently? We'd love to hear back from you and hear your successes in being resilient and changing things up, being flexible. Thank you. So the second virtue that we'd like to share with you today is creativity. To be creative, you need to be willing to take a risk and be willing to be wrong. If you are paralyzed by fear of always being wrong, it will shut down your creativity. So be willing to take a risk. Just throw up an idea, try it, and realize that not everyone is going to be a success. That's part of the whole creative process. Just keep throwing stuff up. You're going to have some that are fails and some are huge successes. But the only way you're going to get the huge successes is if you're willing to take the fails that come with them.
Right. And even as businesses, we have to be creative. We have to have ideas. Think about this last year in the pandemic. All the restaurants that went out of business because they were unwilling to be creative. They got shut down and they weren't creative. Look at all the others that were creative. We had delivery, right? You could call and get it delivered.
DoorDash just became a huge thing to keep restaurants going and to keep us fed.
Right, and curbside. You don't have to get out of your car. You order it, you pull up, you tell them what you drive, you pay online, you open your window, they set it in, no contact, right? And all of these different ways for restaurants to stay in business when they couldn't have people inside. The other night, we were out for date night. It's 9 o'clock at night. We're driving around and we pass a Carver's. So this is a fine dining steak restaurant.
Yes, in our area, yeah, this is where you want to go for very nice dining. It's always been a nice
it's a really
dine-in.
nice dinner. And the parking lot is packed. So obviously they have a lot of people inside.
Well, as we could see in the windows, the dining room is full. I mean,
And there's people in line, so they're waiting for a table, right? And that was how it was before the pandemic. But the funny part was that they have a drive-up window. At Carver's, there is employees out taking orders. There is at least 20 cars in line, people who are not even getting out of their car, who are ordering and taking their dinner home with them. That is completely new. That was them being creative of like, how many people like to have a nice dinner at home? We're doing date night in. And it was just incredible to me that at 9 o'clock, there was still at least 20 cars in line. Besides people waiting to sit at a table, they had totally just captured a new way to earn money and a new way to have this going on. Yes, it was Saturday night, but I wouldn't be surprised if they have it every night.
But I would venture to say that their volume and their profit for that Saturday night far exceeded anything they've ever seen before. They created a whole second revenue stream, a whole new idea through COVID, through the challenges and the horrific things that happened in COVID. They ended up creating a whole new revenue stream of finding out that people want to take that fine dining. There's a certain group that want to take it at home times, and they double their productivity. And so it's just incredible.
So be creative in your thoughts and your ideas and ways that you could be more resilient and that you could do things differently. Before our last point, I just want to encourage you to subscribe right here below. Hit the subscribe button. We have episodes every weekday put out by National Speakers Association Mountain West Chapter. Phenomenal speakers that are legendary. You don't want to miss these. So subscribe so that you get notified when a new episode hits, and go and see all the great speakers that are part of our YouTube channel.
The third virtue that we would like to share with you is perseverance. When you are looking for new solutions, understand every idea is not going to be a home run. Everything you try is not going to work. You need to persevere. You need that stick-to-itiveness that keeps going, because you will have some failures. You'll have some ideas that flat don't work. But stick to it until you find the winners.
Yeah, everybody needs to persevere. We need to have that perseverance to keep going. Think about people like Babe Ruth. Like, wasn't he the strikeout person as well as the home run guy?
Yeah, he had high numbers in both ends, but he kept with it. And what do we know him for? There's a candy bar named after him, and they didn't name it after him because he struck out so much, okay? Bill Gates is another one that persevered. The first company that he created crumbled, total failure, and yet he kept going. He persevered.
Think of Walt Disney. They said he wasn't creative enough. Walt Disney is the most creative person out there. Like Disney World, Disneyland, all those fun things. That was extremely creative, right?
And yet, that might be just one person's opinion. Steve Jobs is another one. Do you know Steve Jobs was fired from his own company? When he got fired from Apple, the board of directors just sent him packing. He went and started another company. Apple ended up buying his company. He came back on board with Apple and took it over. So persevere. Don't give up when you have a failure.
Thank you for being here with us. We are excited to have you here. We're also excited to give you a free gift. We would like to give you the Peer Guide. The Peer Guide is One of the things that we've put together, the PEER is an acronym for Productive, Intentional, Effective Resilience. And especially where we've been talking about resiliency in this video, we would love to be able to give that to you. You need to go to our website at allthingspossible.biz. It's below in the description, and you can go to our website and get your free gift. Thanks for being here with us, and we'll see you next time right here. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.